Hello everyone. As you can probably see, we're feeling quite Christmassy here at Sheffield Hallam. I thought I'd get in touch with some of the activities that we're putting together for you after the Christmas break. So to really give you that launch pad to make the very best of 2018 and your final semester with us as third years. So there's 4 key things that I think are going to be really important. We're kickstarting the year with the dissertation writing workshops. We've got the completion of what's called the National Student Survey, the NSS, and we're also working with external partners to deliver some mental health and wellbeing training that we hope will help you if you're feeling particularly stressed. It'll get you to think about yourself and also working and supporting others. We're also putting on a tailored alumni and careers networking event. So I'll be meeting with students in the final week of term to get a kind of a real sense of what that could look like for English. So doing something that's really tailored for you. So the first thing then that we'll be thinking about are the dissertation workshops. So it really is about kickstarting your dissertation or major project. You've put in your interim report plans, and it's time for us now with passing the feedback back to you to get you to think about what it is you need to be doing with the next phase of your work. So don't worry, whatever stage you're at, this will be very useful to you, I think, both to reflect on the interim report and also think about what your next steps are going to be. So your dissertation tutors, a selection from across the team, will be on hand to help you with a number of different areas of work that we think will help. So how do you manage a project? How do you put the building blocks and the timeline in place, make the project doable through small steps throughout the remainder of the semester? Building on the interim report itself, so we talk a lot about feedback, and it's important, I think, that we're really able to understand what it is your tutors and your supervisors are asking you for. Staring at a blank piece of paper is really difficult, and I think that running writing workshops where we're able to talk through how we as lecturers and writers deal with writer's block, how students who've gone before you as well have dealt with that, I think will help. Crucially, in those sessions, we'll also be focusing in on reviewing and understanding the assessment requirements. So really getting our teeth into the rubrics that are there for you to understand how it is we mark your work. So you'll be able to look at some examples of introductions and conclusions, some reflective practice to really get a sense of how other students have gone about this task. Because believe it or not, every year we have students who complete their dissertations, complete their major projects. So even when it's feeling insurmountable, it's really not. And by dealing with it, I think, in tiny little bits together, we can make the whole thing seem much more manageable. So for creative writers, there's a writing retreat. So that's the week beginning the 8th of January. And then we're going to strike while the iron's hot for our language and dissertation students and literature dissertation students. So putting some work on the timetable for you, some time to set aside to specifically think about your dissertation. So for language students and English students undertaking the language dissertation, that's going to be Tuesday the 16th of January. And for the literature dissertation and those English students undertaking the literature dissertation, that'll be Thursday the 18th of January. So I'll be working with Susan Anderson, Deputy Head of English, next week to put these things on the timetable for you. So do bear with us while we get that nicely organised for you. The next thing I want to talk about actually is a session that I came from today. So I've just flagged up a number of different feedback examples that we've had from students. So this is in relation to the wellbeing events that I was talking about to begin with. We're really clear that for students in the final year, there are a number of things that can kind of get in the way and rock the boat, if you like. And we've been doing some work with an external agency to think about our well-being, both as staff to help support you, but also as students within your final year. So I just wanted to flag up some of the excellent feedback that we've had with students. We've rolled this out across the department, and we've timed your wellbeing sessions for the January because we think that's the optimum time for you to come back into that final semester and be ready and good to go on your final parts of your dissertation. So I want to talk a little bit more about these wellbeing sessions because I think they're going to be very useful for you. They are optional. But it's again listening to the sort of feedback that you've been giving us. So reflecting on that, you're saying that your final year can be really quite stressful. We also feel that with your dissertation or major project taking up 40 credits of your time, then this emphasis on independent learning can make you feel a little isolated. And we really want to support you as much as we can through this period of time, because like I say, you know, it will go this time and you will succeed and you will graduate. So thinking about these sessions, we've got a number coming up. For language, these are going to be form part of your day on Tuesday, the 16th of January. So that's just as we come back. So we need to be planning for that for you. Similarly, creative writing is the 31st of January. So we're putting that on a day, I think, when you've already got a little bit of teaching, so that hopefully you're not having to come in additionally to that. And then for the literature session, that'll be on Friday, the 26th of January, and there's a couple of sessions there as well. So we'll be in touch with how to sign up for those particular sessions. I'm also conscious as well that for English students, there's not a session specifically for you. I've experienced this through the staff sessions, which have been mixed sessions, and it's been a very supportive environment. So what we're intending to do is have those groups, you know, for English students be mixed in with other groups. If there's a big demand for this and English students would like to have an additional event, I'm absolutely sure we can schedule that and look into it. So I spoke a little bit about saying that I'd experienced this today. So I've actually had my training today in terms of health and well-being from Polly Singer. So there's a picture of Polly there just at the top of the slide, and Polly works for Crossgate Counselling. So it's an external agency, confidential agency. She's a lovely lady. She's very warm and very caring. One of the things we were working and thinking about with Polly is about how within the university profession, there's a lot of mental health vulnerabilities that we are encountering, both staff and students, and we need to talk about these things. I think that mental health and well-being can feel like a very daunting subject to talk about in a group. And we know as a society that there's a stigma surrounding mental health, which can make this subject even harder to talk about. I think that's what makes it even more important that we break this stigma, that we come together and break the silence and talk about this together. My experience of this has been that actually we all are impacted by this in different ways, and actually being able to share that, to acknowledge that, you know, sometimes we find things difficult. Sometimes we find course difficult. Sometimes we're finding work or home life or family life difficult. Knowing that you're not the only one, I think, is a very supportive first step. So these sessions are designed to benefit everybody, whether you have a lot of knowledge or experience of this, or whether you've not really thought about this before. So it's a lovely beginning session, and we can point to additional resources. As the staff become more trained in this, I think we're going to get better at signposting, and there are some really nice apps that you can think about and look at. One of them that's available to you right now is called The White Wall, and that is it offers peer support. It's a free resource through Sheffield Hallam, which you can sign on using your SHU log-on details, and that is actually I say policed, but it has input from trained counsellors. It's monitored, so it's a very safe and confidential space. And again, we've had students come back to us and say that that was incredibly useful. So the sessions that we'll be putting on together will get us to be thinking about our own care, our own mental health and well-being, looking out for others, diagnosing, thinking about common mental health issues, problems, and hearing from other students, so testimonials really of other things that other students have felt that are there in the public domain. So you don't feel like you have to share anything, that's absolutely fine, but what the sessions will do will get you to think about your current lifestyle, think about your levels of anxiety, how to cope with stress. Stress is a natural thing. It's when pressure tips into stress that we need to kind of think about acting on that, or when that stress becomes more continual or constant, and how to improve our thinking patterns, our sleep patterns, and how to access and gain support. So we hope you think these sessions will be valuable. I certainly think that they will be, and I'd really advise you to sign on to one of our sessions, and I'll give you more details about that as we figure out how to sign you on to that over the next week or so. Some of the benefits that students have reflected back to us is that you have an increased awareness. You're able to support not only yourself, but also recognise issues with friends or families and peers. And as I say, the way that Polly runs the sessions, they're really engaging, full of ideas, and it's very, very useful. So like I say, the feedback across the piece has been absolutely excellent. Okay. So moving on to the next area that we'll be talking about in the new year, very important survey that we run every year that's run nationally. It's called the National Student Survey. You may have heard about it because it's sometimes shortened to NSS, and the university has had a history of donating actually to various charities, and last year that was the Student Minds charity. So it's a nice kind of connection with students' health and well-being. So the survey examines absolutely every aspect of your university experience, how we listen to you, how we build on your feedback, what your experience as the course has been. We found it absolutely invaluable. Every year we plan and build our improvements around the feedback that comes directly from you. So some of the feedback that we've had through the survey in the last year that we've been able to act on is to create a sense of space, a sense of course identity through the student lounge. We've been looking specifically at timetabling and how our taught sessions can help you build on the gaps that you have in your timetable to use the library or to use your independent study time and have a more focused experience there. You'll have seen all the work we've done on assessment rubrics and guidance. We're trying to build far more into our teaching sessions that directly addresses assessment types so that you're absolutely clear what it is you're being asked to do. There are no surprises there at all. And something else that came through loud and clear through last year's survey was the opportunity to have extracurricular activities. So we hope you've been enjoying your extracurricular activities. We've got some great ones lined up for the new year. So just thinking off the top of my head, we've got a trip to Stratford, which Annalise Connolly will be putting together and organising. We have a language trip that I understand is going to London, and Dave Peplow and Karen Granger will be organising that as well. So lots of nice things to look forward to once we get beyond, some of your timed assessments that are kind of coming up. So your course leaders, I'll be on hand, I imagine, to talk to you about this as well. If you've got any questions about the survey, please do let us know. But as I say, it's very important and we take it very seriously. And thank you, in advance for you completing the survey should you choose to do so. The final thing I just want to flag up to you, because I've been talking for a little while now, we're also doing a bespoke careers networking event. So something that I've been aware of is that the university runs a great series of events, but they tend to be tailored to absolutely everybody. And I think we could do a better job of bridging the gap between careers and between the subject area. So I'm wanting to put on an event that's very much focused on you, focused on your aspirations, your career goals, or to provide that kind of bridge where you're not so sure. So to be working with alumni from the course who've gone through the same degrees as you, to hear from them what it is they've done with their English degree or their creative writing degree or their language degree. So I'm looking forward to next week meeting with your student reps, level 6 student reps, to be able to plan that event. But we've already penciled some time into the diary. So I want you to save the date. We're going to do it as what we call a twilight session. So from 4 o'clock to 7 o'clock. That's because in inviting our alumni, that's a time that will work for them and employers. And one of the ideas that we've had for that is to have a speed networking element as part of it, to refresh your LinkedIn profile and to provide you as well with some professional headshots, because that can be something that's difficult to achieve actually, I think, when you're a student. And we can talk through some of the good practice that we've got there. And as I say, we'll be putting that on for you as well. So Thank you for your patience. I hope you found this useful. I'm sorry I can't get around to all of you before Christmas, but I'd like to wish you all a very, very happy break and a restful time, and I look forward to seeing you in the new year. Take care. Bye.